Just waiting for this to set up. There we go. All right. Mute myself. Fun times. Okay. Hello, hello. Let's see. 2 participants. Yay. All right, Serena, welcome. It's good to have you here. We'll get started in a few minutes. And while we're at it, I'm going to get this presentation set up. Okay. All right. I hope you are well. It might just be you and me tonight, Serena. Sometimes people have busyness in their lives, especially this time of year. So, but I'm happy to be with you if it's just you this evening. And please let me know if you have any questions. There's a Q&A in the bottom of the Zoom bar. For some reason, the chat is disabled, I think, for everyone. I don't know if that's something I can change in the settings, but if you have a question, you can either raise your hand, chat, you can talk. I've given you the ability to do so, or you can type a question in the Q&A section. Okay. We will get started in another minute. Yes, just so you know, tonight, we are going to be talking about everything else that can affect metabolism. We covered, mindset. We covered energy. We also covered nutrition and exercise. As much as we could pack into an hour, there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. And I think sometimes we can get a little lost in the midst of it all. Thank you, Serena. You're so sweet. Okay. We will get started in just a few more moments. I love it. All right. Let me pull up my my slideshow. And here we go. I'm going to move myself. No, I want this instead. Present. Yes. Okay. Hopefully you can see my screen okay. I'm going back to the front. Let me know if you cannot. I'm happy to try and adjust accordingly. So if you have not seen, I'm going to get started. If you have not seen the other sessions that we had, we started 2 Mondays ago, and that first session, like I mentioned, mindset and energy, and then we followed that last Monday with nutrition and exercise, and it's really good content and stuff. Awesome. Thank you, Serena. To cover, I mean, there is a lot of confusion surrounding, how does food, how does it all affect you? Because it seems like it's this never-ending battle of good information, and then you try it and it doesn't work for you, and then you continue to get frustrated, and what might work for one person, we discovered, might not work for you. So in saying all of that, we're really on this journey of, during these seminars, of trying to figure out, oh, there's more to it than just I need to work out more and and eat less. It's not that simple. If you have not watched those sessions, please go back and do so. They are available on my YouTube channel to the public. Yes. So now we're going to move on today, because we do want to turn our bodies into that lean, mean, fat-burning machine that it was meant to be. So today we are going to talk a little bit about the other things. And really quickly, if you haven't watched the other sessions, I just want to reintroduce myself. If you don't know me, my name is Amy Paul, and it is my passion to help you, to help people get holistically healthy. And what does that mean? It means that you are wholly healthy, complete, whole, top to bottom, inside out healthy, meaning your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit, all of that included, so that you can live a vibrant and amazing life full of health. Right? We are multifaceted individuals, so we need to address every part of ourselves. So M.E.T.A.F.I.R.E, in case you haven't watched the other sessions, forgive me if you have, and this is old news to you, and I love my acronyms, bear with me. It is mentality and energy training for the ability to foster and ignite revolutionary effectiveness for what? For metabolism. So we're trying to revolutionize your body so that it becomes that fat burning machine. It's like what you are as a kid. Kids can eat anything, they can do anything and not do anything, and still will burn like crazy, right? So what are we going to cover today? We are going to cover the other factors. The big ones were mindset, energy, nutrition, and exercise and movement. But these are the other ones, and they can be just as big. So we're going to talk about that today. Number one on this list is stress, because it really does matter. And most of us know that already. We understand that stress can really affect a multitude of issues in our bodies. We tend to get less sleep if we're stressed. We tend to eat poorly if we're stressed. We tend to not perform as well in pretty much every area of our lives if stress is a part of the equation. And I'm talking the bad kind of stress. I'm not talking like, we need stress. Your body needs stress in exercise. You need a bit of stress to motivate you to kind of push through certain things. Not all stress is bad, right? So I'm not eliminating it. Eliminating it completely from your life is not necessarily what I'm looking to do, but I do think that we need to eliminate the bad stress, the worry, the anxiety, the things that kind of keep us up in the middle of the night, the excess where you're flying off the handle because you haven't addressed the bad stress. It's the yelling at your kids because you've had it to hear, and it's the straw that breaks the camel's back. That's the kind of stress I'm talking about, because this bad stress produces a hormone in your body, and we all pretty much know this, cortisol. That cortisol spikes, creates more insulin resistance, which we did talk a little bit about in our nutrition seminar last week. The more insulin resistant you are, the less likely you are to burn fat, and the more likely you are to hang on to it. So cortisol is like it joins that insulin in a very bad way and causes all kinds of problems. And really, truly, your body just responds to cortisol in a way where it says, no, I got to hang on to this, and we're talking about the body's, I mean, if you think about it in a primitive type of way, people didn't know when they were going to get their next meal back long time ago. And so there was this response to hang on to fat because, and the stress of I need to survive, right? So there's this response in the body to hold on for that survival purpose. And even though we do not have the same stressors as, say, our primitive ancestors, our body still responds the same way, right? So if you want to call it evolution or whatever, but the body's response to stress really truly boils down to hanging on to fat. And it's unfortunate, but true. So what can we do to alleviate stress? Many of you are probably aware that you can meditate, that you can do all kinds of things to just bring that level of stress down, but actually implementing them and making them a part of your everyday life, or even every other day, or whatever kind of scheduling you want to put in, is difficult. But the alternative is also incredibly difficult. So I can't stress enough, no, yeah, pun intended, that in order to remove stress from your life, there needs to be practical steps put in place. Even journaling, even just taking some time for yourself to do activities that you appreciate, that bring you joy, peace, calm, a bubble bath, a nice glass of wine. I'm not saying become an alcoholic, of course, but finding things that you enjoy, a hike or a walk at the end of the day, can tremendously alleviate stress from your life. Finding apps that prompt you to meditate or breathe, even for short bursts throughout your day, incredibly helpful. The science backs that meditation and breathing can incredibly, like percentage-wise, decrease your stress. So it's not a matter of, I need to get rid of stress in my life, because stressors will come. They are guaranteed in this life. In fact, we all know that. It's how you deal with them, how healthily you deal with them, correct? And finding the tools and things that you can implement into your life, that is what's going to bring about the solutions. Make sense? All right. Number 2, and no less important, sleep. This one is a tough one. This one's a tough one for me. I find that my day, I just wish I had more hours in the day. I wish that I could get everything done within, and I'm up early. I am up 4:45, 5 a.m. And I do that so that I can meditate. I can have that journaling time. I have my green drink in the morning. I like to be prepared before I teach my classes. And so I do take that time. But the earlier you get up, the earlier you should go to bed. And I can honestly say that as a mom of 3, wife, full-time job, my side hustle, there's never enough hours in the day. However, it's not an excuse, because I am finding that the earlier I go to bed, the more productive I am during the day, the more energized I am to get things done, the more efficient I am. So we may think, I need to just plow through, I need to get this done. But in actuality, I think that the more that we, yeah, Serena, I hear you. I'm just going to actually make sure that there's no one waiting. Oh, Natalia's here. Yay. Wonderful. Okay. So if you do have any questions, Natalia, forgive the interruption, and make sure that you put them in the Q&A. Hello, Jake. Welcome. If you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A, or you can type them in, or sorry, you can say your question out loud, raise your hand, whatever you feel most comfortable with. Okay. All right. So continuing on, sleep. I have found that like I was saying, my efficiency, my productivity, my happiness my just general well-being is so much better when I do sleep. Sleep is crazy important. And it's not just the quantity of sleep, it's the quality of sleep. Now, you guys may know, because it's becoming more and more prevalent, that the knowledge is becoming more, and I guess trending, if you will, because it is such a huge issue, that there are things that you can do in order to get a better night's sleep. And I'm going to give you a quick list of some of the things that I personally do and have read up on and researched that can assist, because if you aren't getting enough sleep, you are not going to lose stubborn weight, period. The studies have shown that if you are sleep deprived, you can cut calories, you can eat perfectly, you can do your exercises, you can do everything right, and you will not lose the weight because you are sleep deprived. Your body knows what you need, and it will not let go of stubborn fat if you do not get the proper amount and quality of sleep. Bottom line. The research is out. Sleep is incredibly important in terms of your metabolism, in terms of your general well-being, in terms of you as a person being able to conquer the world, being able to achieve what you are meant to achieve in this life. So there is a reason that we are supposed to sleep. So many things happen when we sleep. Your body heals itself when you sleep. You dream, you get your subconscious kind of engages, which is incredibly healing for the soul. There are so many studies out there that talk about the incredible benefits of sleep. I have listened to podcasts and done tons of reading, and it is unanimous that there is a severe lack of sleep in especially our culture. We do not value it. You know, the more sleep you get, the more lazy you are deemed. If you go to bed early and you don't get up early, like, because if you have, or if you go to bed late and then you get up late, it's like, oh, okay, well, it is what it is. You know, there's no true value to sleep in our society, in our culture. And so that's a problem. It's a really big problem. So here are some of the things that I incorporate into my routine to try and get more sleep. I am still a work in progress, let me tell you, because at the end of the day, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so many things I still need to get done, which, by the way, has a lot to do with how you are productive earlier in the day. Little tip right here, a little bonus, extra bonus. You are most effective, the studies have proven, unless you are someone who is night shift, you are most effective early in the morning. So if you have projects or you have things that you need to accomplish, save all your emailing, save all of that mumbo jumbo for later in the day, when after you've maximized that early morning block of time. That's when you are most productive. Your brain is firing on all cylinders. That's the time that you should be doing things instead of wasting your time emailing people, and that can come later, right? So quick little tip there. When it comes to sleep, trying to get a really quality sleep starts earlier in the day. Tip number 1, don't eat late. It affects your sleep. So especially if you are trying to do an intermittent fasting as well type of situation, I would eat no later than 8 p.m., forgive me. I would try and cut off yourself even earlier if you can, so that your body has time to your digestion has time to calm down. the things that your body needs to do digestion wise. It's not that they're waking up at 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night. And I just recorded a podcast talking a little bit, throwing a little bit of this in there too. And the average person eats for 14 and a half hours a day, all day long, which is not good, and partially one of the reasons why we have such an obesity epidemic. We no longer just eat 3 meals a day, which was the norm back in the 60s and 70s and earlier. We eat all day long. That is an 8 a.m. in the morning, eating till 10:30 p.m. at night. That's pretty typical. I'm not saying you're eating every minute on the minute, but it's spread throughout the day, and it just is we're finding it that the obesity epidemic is rampant, and this is one of the main causes for it. So stop eating at a decent time. I would say if you can, 6:37 and be done. Don't snack, and other factors are involved in you feeling satiated enough to pull the plug at that time. But anyway, that's another story for another day, right? So another thing that you can do is a few things is make your bedroom sacred. Wherever you're sleeping, it needs to be a place where it's meant for sleep and nothing else. So computers out of the room, even like some people have TVs in their room. If you have a TV in your room, can you turn it off and make sure it stays off by a certain time? It should not be something that you're doing to fall asleep to. Let's put it that way. If you do appreciate a TV or some kind of screen, protecting yourself from that blue light, because blue light signals to your body that you need to be awake. And so if you can't protect that, it can cause you to have poor sleep. You may fall asleep just fine, but your sleep won't be as quality, or it will cause this waking up in the middle of the night because your body's circadian rhythm, which is the rhythms, the cycles that you go through when you're sleeping, get messed up. So there's that. Protect your room, keep it cool. Temperature is a huge thing, and there's tons of things that you can do to assist in keeping your room cooler. Don't run your heater at night or keep it, lower. They say that about 68 is max in your room. Now, it has nothing to do with the blankets that you're putting yourself in. It's the temperature of the room. So just keep that in mind, ladies who run cold. You can pile the blankets on, but it's the room itself that needs to be cold. Another one is blacking out your room. Any light, it can be from your phone going off in the middle of the night, can disrupt your sleep. I wear a mask, and I just bought your typical one that lays flat on your face, made with satin. It felt so good, but then I just a little tip here, it crushed my eyelashes and made them all funky. So I found a mask that it's like kind of raised off of your eyes so that it's blocking all the light, but it doesn't damage your eyelashes. So if you're interested, I can put that link to that purchase from Amazon in the chat on YouTube. Okay. Let me know if you are interested in that. Another tip is some earplugs. If every little noise wakes you up and you're a light sleeper, wear earplugs. It helps tremendously. That's what I do. My kids, it's not that you can't hear anything, but it really lessens the amount of wake up time because you're hearing things, the cats in the backyard, 2 blocks down or whatever, that are loud and crazy, that kind of thing. Let's see, what else do? I take magnesium at night. I'm a magnesium. I don't want to use a bad word, but I love my magnesium. We are magnesium deficient, bottom line. We do not get enough of it. And it is something that we absolutely need. Serena, I will answer your question in just a second. So magnesium brings calm to the body. It brings calm to your musculature and your joints. It helps you sleep better. I personally, every night will take, it's called Calm. You can buy it at Costco. It's a magnesium powder. It tastes wonderful. There's no sugar in it, but it tastes great. It's fizzy. I just push it back real quick with a small amount of water. And it has helped and benefited me tremendously. They do say that taking magnesium with vitamin D is a wonderful alternative as well. It helps your body absorb it that much better. So I personally take a vitamin D drop, and I can recommend all of those things in the YouTube chat. So make sure you go back and look, okay? Yes, magnesium is fantastic. And then last tip I'll give you is, I failed to mention it earlier when we talked about devices, blue light glasses. They're ugly as all get out, okay? They're orange, and you can find ones that if you wear eyeglasses, you can fit them over your eyeglasses. But I'm telling you, if you have to be on a device for whatever reason, wearing these prevents that blue light from really keeping you awake and disturbing your rhythms of sleep, okay? It's really, really important. And again, I can put the link to Amazon's my friend. I'll put the link in the chat, okay? I might put it in the description instead. It'll be a little easier that way. Finally, last thing, one thing that I just discovered from Dr. Huberman, or Andrew Huberman's podcast on sleep. He was saying that early morning light, as the sun is rising, if you expose your eyes to it, it's not detrimental like in the middle of the day where it can cause eye damage, but it's that early morning light. If you can get outside and get some of that light in your eyes, first thing in the morning, you can really help to set your circadian rhythms. And even better, if at night you go outside and watch the sunset. Okay, it's important to be outside. A window will block most of you will have to spend way more time in front of it, the window, than if you just went outside for 5 to 10 minutes and absorbed the sunlight. And I'm not saying directly look at the sun, of course, that's dangerous, but it helps your body know when to go to bed. You will start to begin to get tired at a very specific time. Your melatonin levels, not melatonin. Yeah, melatonin. I was thinking melanin, your skin, but your melatonin will actually regulate, and it'll tell your body now's the time when you need to wind down. And your temperature is involved in that. Your temperature starts to drop to tell you to get into bed, get cozy, all of that. So your body is an amazing machine and knows exactly what you need. So to answer your question, before we move away from sleep, so the best way, I think, Serena, to overcome this get up early, go to bed late is increments. Each night, even if it's 5 to 10 to 15 minute increments, just schedule it out. First of all, look at how long it takes you, your routine to get to bed. What is it? Obviously your kids are involved. You've got to get them to bed first. They're usually priority, right? But then you have your own routine, and then time chunk it backwards. So say, for instance, if it takes you 30 minutes to do self-care, wash your face, get everything ready, and you're going to bed at midnight, and you know that 30 minutes is there, and you would like to go to bed at least 15 minutes earlier, shoot for 11:45, but start to get ready for bed at 11:15. I'm not saying immediately go to bed at 9:30. You'll probably just lay there and your body won't know what to do. But if you do it in smaller increments, you're going to find way more success. Make sense? That's how I've been doing it. And there have been some successes in my life. I have been going to bed at 9:30, sometimes 10, usually 10:30 at the latest. But when I go to bed at 9:30, I feel freaking-tastic when I get up in the morning. And I'm telling you, you might think, oh, I have so much to get done, but your productivity, efficiency, and, output is so much better that you are like this machine that can get it all done in less time because you're not tired, you're not worn out, and you're not lacking energy, and you're not lacking motivation because of all of that. Make sense? Okay. Let me know if you have any other questions about sleep or stress, and I'm happy to address them. All right, moving on. Hormones. Yeah, we know. No. Hormones are big. We've got a ton of them in our body, and they can wreak so much havoc. I'm speaking from experience, having a late pregnancy, at 40 years old, getting pregnant and having a child. It destroyed my hormones, and I was absolutely completely depleted of so many things. And so I went to a naturopathic doctor. She recommended a specific protocol. And I'm happy to tell you that along with moving out of a stressful environment and the hormone therapy, I am feeling so much better. And then I'm adding the sleep on top of it. I feel like I can conquer the world now, right? And I know I can get even better. There's always room for improvement, right? So, but it's not just your female hormones or male hormones that can contribute to your metabolism. It is also things like ghrelin, things like leptin. Leptin will tell you when you're full. Hello? Anybody have that issue? Leptin tells you, okay, you're done. And if that is out of whack, how many extra calories will you ingest? I mean, it is what it is, right? There are supplements that you can take there, but it's eating good food that's filling is the number one thing that we need to do, because processed foods are engineered so that you don't feel full and you just keep eating and eating and eating. You get to the bottom of the bag of chips and you're like, what just happened? And you're still hungry 30 minutes later. So leptin is huge. Ghrelin is the opposite, is the hunger, like I need to eat now. And if that is out of control, you're always hungry. Nobody needs that either. That needs to be in check as well. And again, all of these hormonal responses can be addressed with hormone therapy, with understanding your body, with good nutrition, with timing your meals, with intermittent fasting. All of these things can help you to get your body regulated so that you can actually have your metabolism working appropriately. Hormones are huge. If your estrogen or your progesterone or testosterone are completely out of whack, you're probably not going to lose the weight. Bottom line. And, feeling guilty or beating yourself up or using food as a weapon or exercise as a weapon is not going to solve the problem. And it can exacerbate it, in fact. And that's all connected to stress, right? And that cortisol and beating yourself up and then your mindset is all weird and And it's just this vicious cycle. And so addressing your hormones can be incredibly helpful and can free you from stubborn weight loss and from feeling awful. I was feeling completely depleted. My naturopath, after I tested, she's like, "Oh, honey, you got nothing left." And it made me feel less crazy after having a newborn and feeling like, what's wrong with me? It wasn't just being tired from having a newborn. I've been pregnant 5 times. I know what tired is. And I have 3 children and I've done this before. This is beyond tired. This is crazy tired. And so understanding your body through the eyes of someone who is knowledgeable and can help you, huge. And I can tell you that if you join the program, I am working in tandem with my naturopathic doctor, and she's fantastic. She is so knowledgeable. Forgive my children running around. I did tell them, I warned them, please be quiet, but they forget. So apologies there. She understood me. She understood where I was coming from. She read the tests and knew exactly what I needed. And I incorporated it into my life, and it helped tremendously. So I know that the same can be done for you. If you join my program, there is a discount that she is offering to anyone who does to get the consultation. She's offering it. I think it's a 50%. Don't quote me. I need to double check, but it's a significant discount on your initial consultation. Yes, so she's great. Let's see. We only hear you in loud and clear. Oh, can you, are you meaning you can't hear me, or you can hear me and you're just amening me? Let me know, Sharina. Okay. Next one, really quickly, doesn't need much time, but medication. So if you are on any type of medications, cheapers, at least they've got energy, right? If you're on any type of medication, just know that this can absolutely affect your metabolism. I've watched as people who were completely thin and could eat a horse and not gain any weight. Got it. Thank you. Children can be a disruption. Thank you, Serena, for clarifying. I was like, oh no, are we having technical difficulties? So yes, I have watched family members, friends who have been put on specific medications and the weight just packed on. So there are ways that this can be managed. There are ways that you can get around that, and using your doctor's help, of course, but also working with a naturopath, or to see if there are alternatives or things that can help you either, decrease your the amount of medication that you have with using natural forms, or there are ways around it. Or using other tips and tricks to combat the negative effects, side effects of medications. So there are ways around it. And sometimes I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist. So little disclaimer here that I should have done in the beginning. My advice is really just advice that you can take or leave. I have skill sets and I have knowledge, but I am not a registered dietitian. I'm not a nutritionist. I just have a lot of knowledge gleaned over the years because this is my passion and the things that I've learned and the things that I've experienced personally. So there are doctors and there are people that we can work with to help us understand how the medications can affect us and how we can combat that side effect, the best we can. All right, moving on. I did briefly touch on this earlier, but breath is huge. Again, another one that we overlook all the time. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not just talking regular breathing to just survive. I'm talking about intentional breathing, things that we tend not to focus on because it's just not important to us. It doesn't seem like it matters, but it does. It really, really does. So, true breathing should come from your diaphragm, the belly. That's where it's located. It's underneath your stomach, right? And it pushes your lungs up. But the majority of our culture and society actually breathes really shallow, and we use our chest instead. And that's not how we were meant to breathe. We were meant to use a muscle down lower to push the air out and allow the air to come back in again. And there are practices that you can do in order to strengthen that muscle. And also just the practice of breathing alone during meditation or just focusing on your breath can alleviate the stress, can bring about tremendous healing to your body. You are oxygenating your body in a way that shallow breath never can, and can also lend to better metabolism. If you're not breathing properly, you're probably not metabolizing properly. Very, very important. And studies have shown that especially mouth breathing can be incredibly detrimental to your health. So if you are someone who breathes through your mouth in the middle of the night, and you'll know this by certain signs. For instance, I've gotten so much better. I've really practiced this, and doing things repetitively really does create an environment where you practice it, and it becomes something that you don't have to think about anymore. It's a habit, and you can train your body to do this. I was taping my mouth with medical tape every night, and it's sticky enough that it feels like it peels off okay, but it doesn't rip your skin. Let's put it that way. It's medical tape. And I would tape my mouth every night. And I still do from time to time, especially if I'm a little stuffy, because breathing through your nose lends to better immunity, better sleep. It keeps your mouth healthier. It keeps your nasal cavity, your sinuses healthier. It actually helps you, believe it or not, lose weight, have better exercise retention and output. Yes, breathing. It's incredibly important. I see another question or comment. I know, it's so hard. And the snoring has to do with the way that the tongue rests in the back of the throat. And you have to train. You have to train it in order to fix that problem. And it also might be blockage in the sinus area too. So it's a little more complicated, but I highly, highly, highly recommend a book called Breath by James Nestor. It's a fantastic read. I don't adhere to every single practice in it because I think a lot of it is a little weird, but it gives you the historical proof. It gives you the scientific studies that are out there. It gives you all the knowledge you need as to why this is so incredibly important. I highly recommend it. I audibled the book, and I need to go back and read it again because it was just so full of such good information on why this is incredibly important. He, the author himself, went and taped his nose for an entire month just to see what would happen. And his health declined tremendously to the point where he was almost debilitatingly sick. And all the tests that were run medically on him, he had increased cholesterol. He gained weight. He couldn't. His exercise output was decreased tremendously. His sleep was incredibly poor. You name, and he was eating healthy. He ate the same thing that he would always eat, and it was nutritively good, but it didn't matter because he did not breathe properly through his nose, and because it caused, and then he got infections. Like the list of things that went wrong is very extensive and sad from breathing through your mouth. There are entire cultures that prevent and say you cannot breathe through your mouth because they understand this concept and will not allow their children to do so. They train them from the very beginning when they're babies. It's something to be said. It is no joke, and it actually matters. So I would highly recommend to read that book to understand. I mean, if you have any kind of a commute, it's a great way to do so, to just plug it in and listen, or on a walk, whatever it is. It's a fantastic read for sure. Okay, moving on. Environment. So environment is not just your physical environment, which is incredibly important. What products are you using on your body? Not just in your body. You may be one of those people who's like, I buy everything organic and I eat really healthily, but then you're slathering on creams with 35 ingredients that you can't even read. Your skin is your largest organ on your body, in your body, on your body. If you are not being careful what you put on or expose yourself to around your physical environment, what kind of cleaning products do you use? Are you lighting candles? Are you, using perfumes and colognes and, sprays to make your house smell good? It will lend to you not losing weight, believe it or not. There are chemicals and phthalates in these scents that essentially prevent fat loss. Your body hangs on to it, and then it just stays in your body as a toxin, and it's not good. It is not good. You do not want that. And sometimes people, when they do lose fat, feel icky because it's releasing all that toxin into their system. Your body basically takes the molecule that is foreign and toxic and protects your body by surrounding it with a fat cell. Hello. It's so nice to have lovely scented candles, because and who wants to pay $30 for a little teeny tiny candle because it's ambiance or whatever. But those are the only ones that you really can use, not the ones from Target that are $10 and smell amazing. Because when you light that puppy, or you spray that spray, or you use the chemicals that your body doesn't know what to do with, that's what happens. Your body is protecting itself, and there's that fat. Just add it to the pile. Right? But so that being said, I also want to talk about your emotional environment. And we did touch on this a little bit earlier with stress, and that's very intertwined in this. So what is your emotional environment? Are you surrounded by toxic people? Really hard, especially if the toxic people are family or close friends, or even coworkers. It can be really, really tough. And how you deal with that can really make or break you. If you have toxicity in both your physical and your emotional life, you're probably not going to lose weight like you want to. You're not going to metabolize like you want to, because your body knows. It's protecting itself. It says, I cannot handle this in my life right now. I'm going to create barriers so that I'm in survival mode and I cannot function if I lose this weight right now. It makes complete sense, doesn't it, when it's broken down like this? So I'm not saying throw everything out immediately, but really look at what you have in terms of your physical products in your home. And you have to be careful because even some of the products that you can get at Whole Foods, read the labels. Does it say fragrance? And is it essential oils, like true essential oils? That's pretty much the only thing that you should be using environmentally. And same on the body. You should be avoiding as much as possible things that have fragrance in it. If it says fragrance or parfum, I think that's how you'd say it in French, parfum, it's gonna be a toxin. It's sad but true. You know, we use smelly things to launder our clothes because it smells better. But there's ways around that. You can just add essential oils to your laundering and things like that. There's ways around it. And there are products that actually are beneficial and do smell decent. So it's not that you have to completely eliminate it entirely, but we need to take a hard look, especially if you've tried everything else and nothing is working. This might be one of them. It might help you. Why not try it? It's only going to benefit you, right? And then in terms of toxicity in relationships, that one's a tougher one. That one might require a therapist, which, you know, a lot of us, we have traumas that I don't know a single person who has not experienced some trauma to some level in their lives. We're guaranteed in this world to have trouble. No one is immune to it. But it is something that we can grow from, we can become stronger from, and it's all in our perspective on how that happens. But the steps to do so, it's a little more involved. It takes effort. It takes intention. It takes sometimes another person seeing things from a completely objective standpoint to come in and reveal to us, oh, I never even thought about it that way. And sometimes you need an additional person or an intermediary person to help navigate toxic relationships so that you do it in a way that is kind and not, you know, because maybe that person will come around later, and the way you handle kind of eliminating the toxicity out of your life is important too. I'm not saying just go cut off everybody and never speak to them again. There's ways of handling things and things that you can say and do and be proactive in so that you can manage those relationships. So yes, that is one area as well. And then finally, to finish out, we're going to talk about spirituality. And what I mean by that is your fulfillment as a person. And oftentimes we neglect this. If you don't take time to, number one, be grateful for what you have, you know, and really, really take the time, journal, talk about it with your spouse, talk about it with your friends, you know, talk about who you want to become, not just so that you can be all that, but who you want to become to affect this world in a better way. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to spirituality. And whether that means you have some particular faith perspective or not, that's not my place to say, but it is a part of how your body responds. It's all intertwined. And this is what I mean about holistic health. If you are someone, and sometimes if you've got a lot of trauma and a lot of toxicity in your life, giving back is like the last thing on your mind, right? So I'm not talking about putting the cart before the horse. You cannot give out of a place of lack, but getting to a place eventually where you can give back. And little caveat here, sometimes in the midst of our deepest pain, when we do give back, we find freedom for ourselves. I'm telling you, it works. It takes your mind off of your own depression, your own sadness, your own suffering, your own pain, because you can offer light and hope to someone else. It buoys you. It really does. And the studies are actually behind this as well. When you help others, often you feel helped yourself. So yes, I'm not asking you to completely go out there and feel like you have to change the world when you have your own internal issues that you're like, I need to deal with this. But there are times when you should step out of that comfortable position and say, no. I need to give of myself. I need to, because it's going to help my own journey to healing, which is absolutely the case. And when we become people who are not only grateful, but are giving and making a difference in this world, it makes us happier, more joyful, more fulfilled, which then motivates us. It gives us energy. It gives us life. It makes us feel like we're accomplishing things, which then lends to everything else. And even though it's not directly related to your metabolism, it absolutely contributes to it. Make sense? All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I really do appreciate it. And I didn't change this slide. Forgive me for not doing that. But this is the last seminar. And I did want to let you know that I do have multiple programs that I'm going to be offering in the new year. And I've got every level. So if you were to train with me at the club, say for instance, they have packages where you would meet with me, 2-3 times a week. And all we do is exercise and chat, really. And they're not cheap because it's my time and it's the club's facility and it's a livelihood, right? So, and you would buy them in packages of 12 or 24 or whatever. So just keep that in mind when I'm bringing these price points to you, okay? I have 3. The first one is a $349. And if you are a part of this, if you jump on this when I release it in the new year, if you are a part of this seminar, I will take note of that. If you've watched it, I'm going to give you a chance to let me know and join the email list and all of that, so that you can get a discounted rate on the app and I have all kinds of plans, but the go through it yourself and implement the different things into your life on your own is $349. Okay. And plus the discount, right? If you are wanting a little more hand holding and meeting with me, the next step up would be 5K. Okay. And that would be a 6-week program, meeting with me multiple times during the week, walking through what you're stuck on, what is not working for you, getting the tools and the tips you need to move ahead. And then the next step up from that is really hand holding. And it's a 3-month process for 10K. It's literally I'm at your beck and call, anything you need, meeting with you 3 times a week, going through everything with a fine-tooth comb to try and get to the bottom of why you're not losing the weight. So depending on where you're at on your journey and what that looks like, those are the 3 options. And we'll see what happens with it, but that's the plan. And I totally get it if you're like sticker shock, but this is how it works. If you want to really get in there, dive deep, do it yourself, you've got an option for yourself. And then if you want more, and if you want more, right? So hopefully, if that is something that interests you, you can join the program. If not, thank you for watching. I hope you gleaned something from this, that you feel like, okay, I have some tips and tricks and tools that I can utilize to move forward and see what I can accomplish to get better, to move ahead, and to make my body this machine that it was always meant to be. Make sense? All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you taking the time. Like I said, I hope you have a great rest of your evening. And be on the lookout for all of my posts on when this launches in the new year. I probably won't do it right at the beginning of the new year, but starting midway or so, after all the holidays are done and all the eating is done, right? We'll get started with it. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being here, and have a great rest of your night. Bye.